his hairdresser tells why you should use a color fast shampoo if you color or lighten your hair. So this is Clairol shampoo, the color fast shampoo. Travel in the finest circles. We say our cordless shaver is the best because it costs a bit more. They take it apart to prove that. We think about crazy nails. I tried to paint them into a kind of summery sunflower, but can't always get it right. Okay, so this is Danny Kaye. I recognize him. He's a comedian from like the 50s and 60s, and he is endorsing Encyclopedia Britannica book a month payment plan. And he says, I don't want to read all that. That's enough to know that he endorsed it. Shirt Jack. The Shirt Jack is only $3.99 from that company. Can you imagine finding a nice polo shirt for only $4? Things sure have changed. People who know how to enjoy a vacation take Sam's night. Well, that may be true, but I know how to enjoy a vacation no matter what my luggage is. I don't need disability insurance. If I'm sick or hurt, I'll still get an income from my building business. That's what I thought until a money man worked out a plan that could give me the additional cash to keep both my family and my business going. Money Mutual of New York. See, I guess I was in 1965. I was only 4 years old, so I have no recollection of that company. Ford Company builds quality in quality car care. Quality car care. Ford, Lincoln, Mercury. Ford and Lincoln Mercury. Now, there's a watch to get someone who has a watch, and this is it. It's an electric Timex, and back then it was $39.95. That's a lot of money for back then. Daddy is Mr. Adam running your electric shaver. Investor-owned electric light and power companies. I don't know why. I don't understand that ad, but I'm not going to delve too deep into the advertisements. Absolutely love pork and beans, and they practically haven't changed their ad at all. I don't mean ad, their the cover on their can. I like companies that stay with the same look on the front of their product. Look how boxy the cars used to be in the 60s. Boxy, square. All the edges are sharp. Angular. This is Country Charm. This is the symbol that stands for Country Charm quality, a country kind of freshness you taste in all good Dean foods. Nice. I've never heard of Dean. It says that they are from North River Road, Franklin Park, Illinois. I'll bet Dean's is still around in Illinois. Sure, your wife is still young and attractive, but could she earn a decent wage if she had to? Life and Casualty Insurance Company of Tennessee. So they're basically saying make sure you got life insurance for your wife in case you die. Sure, she could take care of herself, but it would be nice if you provided for her, is what they're trying to say. Oh, my gosh. Howard Johnson's. Now, I used to go to that restaurant quite a bit when I lived in Southern California. And, oh, what a great restaurant that was. And then at some point they went out of business. But look at those plates. That looks fantastic. Steak, and this looks like course, was in the movie The Pink Panther, the old Pink Panther from the 1960s. I absolutely loved those movies. They were probably slightly too colorful for me as a youth. I think I watched them as an adult. Later on, dive into summer. Okay, this is an advertisement for women's Tampax, saying you can go swimming even though you're on your period. Although they don't come right out and say that, because back then you had to be more discreet, but I'm not going to be. All 8 of us Alexanders really enjoy the comfort and cleanliness of our total electric home. So back then they were advertising electric companies. I don't know why. I'm probably showing my naivety there. They're showing all the different living situations that they're in. Oh gosh, I'm ripping the page. Plenty of hot water is something we can count on with our electric water heater. Oh, I know why, I'll bet. Because everybody was still using gas for everything. And they probably wanted you to start switching over to electric, because you have to pay for both anyway. Chances are you'll pay about the same for either one. Fire insurance policy or Allstate's homeowners policy. You're in good hands with Allstate. There's an advertisement for a Bulova watch. Now see, that's what you get a father. It says for you, father. You don't get him underwear. You can get him underwear and a nice watch. Compare your brand with the rare one, JP Rare Scotch Whiskey. Hello there, you brand new cigarette galaxy. That's so funny. How creative they were in their advertisements for cigarettes. They make it look like this couple's just having such a happy, rip-roaring time. Moving in to a new place, looks like. Oh, and here's Coca-Cola. Coke. For extra fun, take more than one. They make it look like they're taking more than one girl. That's subtle advertising. For extra fun, take more than one. But you got more than one girl. The man behind our Latin American actions. Okay, this is this dictator's cries, reactionary. They say he is cold, patronizing, doesn't really like Latin Americans. His supporters swear he is liberal, warm, genuine, dedicated to the Latinos. But Thomas C. Mann, our number 3 diplomat, cannot be wrapped in rags or ribbons. To anyone who worries about peace or communism or our future with Latin America, he is an imperative study today. The decision to send troops to the Dominican Republic altered for our lifetime the structure of hemispheric relations. Ultimately, it was President Lyndon B. Johnson who gave the order, but in making his decision, he listened closely to Mann's advice. We expect to speak with one voice on all matters affecting this present. The grim price of power. U.S. troops in Santo Domingo. Power isn't popular, but in President Johnson's view, we had to use it in the Dominican Republic. Here is the story of how it was used and what it has done. Marines and paratroopers removed the body of a Dominican killed in crossfire. U.S. troops stormed the Dominican Republic last month. So, this is a June magazine. June 15th in 1965, so it had to have been in May of 1965 that we stormed the load upon load of vehicles and material, an hourly buildup like nothing we have ever engineered on foreign soil in peacetime. When our force numbered 30,000, a Marine said, "One more platoon and this whole damned island is going to sink." I'm going to have to read more about this because this isn't something that I learned in high school. An American Soldiers' Day in Santo Domingo. Fight, feed, frisk. Soon after arriving, most U.S. troops in Santo Domingo lose all sense of time. Each second, it seems, the picture changes, and there is never enough sleep, says a corporal of the 4th Marine Expeditionary Brigade. You're giving food out 1 minute, ducking sniper fire the next, fighting to reopen the corridor the next, then water distribution, then more fighting, and all of a sudden you're yelling, "Ceasefire, ceasefire." Those are our guys. The ties between the Marine and the Army airborne units are occasionally strained by raw tempers and nervous trigger fingers. But neither the leathernecks nor the troopers seem to have doubts about the way to handle Santo Domingo's civilians, small children, apolitical, and immune to the indignity of constant frisking, cluster wherever there is a scent of sea ration candy. Wow. War is terrible. You are turning us into reds, say the rebels. Marines being held at rebel headquarters await further questioning. They were released a few hours later. And war changes people. My tormented life as Trujillo's daughter. Okay, so Trujillo was something separate than what I just read. All that. Oh, so sorry. I did not mean to confuse the issue. This is a whole separate article on Trujillo. Just see editor's note. Just married for the 8th time. Flor de Oro Trujillo, eldest child of the late unlamented murdering and murdered Generalissimo Rafael Leonidas Trujillo Molina, has been making headlines all her adult life. For 31 years, her father was absolute dictator of the sugar-rich Dominican Republic, only 665 miles from U.S. shores. Today, 4 years later after his death, his heritage of hate, bloodletting, and violence continues to agonize his impoverished country. This magazine is awfully political. I did not know that. I don't want to open up any debate in the comments sword. He is flanked by his solemn military aides and the Negro shoeshine boy who sang for his private amusement. See, back in 1965, it was okay to call a black person Negro. Interesting. Proud Papa named his eldest child Flor de Oro, flower of gold. He called her Mi Princesa and tied a bow in her hair for a photograph in San Cristobal. Father began his climb to power as a collaborator after the United States Marines landed in 1916. Oh, here's a General Telephone and Electronics. Trujillo continued. It says he married his strong-willed mistress to legitimize his 6-year-old son, Rafael Jr. Cadillacs. Cadillacs have certainly changed since then. Yes, a full-size air conditioner, $99.95. Well, my goodness. You know, we can get a window air conditioner now for just over $100, I think. Look at this ad. Even a lady could learn to like soft whiskey. It's not hard. Many women don't find whiskey very likable. In fact, they find it hard to take. So you usually find them with gin or vodka or one of those lady drinks. That just cracks me up. A lady drink. Yeah, I have to admit I do tend towards gin and vodka because they don't have a really strong burning sensation going down the throat, but I don't think that's a fair stereotype to all women. But anyway, they said don't get the wrong idea. Soft whiskey is no softy. It's 86 proof and just exactly what 86 proof does. It just does it softer. So lady, be discreet. Oh my gosh. Let's just talk about completely endorsing getting drunk fast. At least I think that's what they're trying to imply. Be like a man and still be a woman. I don't know. Now, nobody jumped down my throat for saying that. I just think it's so interesting to see these old ads from a long time ago. Make 3 wishes. May your young wife and new baby always have a place they can call home. Oh, Prudential, that's home insurance. Or maybe mortgage insurance, I don't know. Stop being such a perfectionist. After all, we don't build them the way we used to. Oh, I don't even get that. But it's probably funny. A delightful difference, the fresh, light lift of lemon in velvety craft mayonnaise. Well, that's interesting. I have never seen that before. I don't think they make it anymore. Lemon flavor in mayonnaise. Gosh, there is so much about Trujillo. Or Trujillo's daughter. Now, I married a good, reputable physician, the kind of man Father hypothetically approved of. Okay. Glass makes news. Disposable glass bottles were chosen for the new ready-to-serve infant formulas naturally because glass is so pure, so clean, so convenient. I would still tend to save them even if they were supposed to be disposable. Smart, smooth, spirited people who made vodka smart have now made Gilby's the smart vodka. And of course they show a woman. York gives it to you straight, the most tobacco tasting 1960s, and there is always a drink in hand and a cigarette in the other, and it just blows my mind how blatantly obvious we were about drinking and smoking back then, and nobody saying anything about what it could do to you. I think we just didn't know. Okay, this is Trujillo's daughter again, and the headline on the top says, "I rebelled openly and sat waiting on the airport floor like a child having tantrums." Gosh, that is one long article. She also, the daughter of Trujillo, says, "I was a little monster aching with a blind black fury to hurt my husband." And also Trujillo. That's pretty typical of a little girl that's been wounded by her daddy. Sears has everything. How a monster and some duffers helped Doug Ford improve Sears golf clubs. Doug Ford is one of the many leading sports experts who go to great lengths to help Sears bring you professionally approved sports equipment. These men work on the Ted Williams Sports Advisory staff at Sears, Roebuck and Company, and work they do. Doug Ford exploding out of a sand trap with a sand wedge. Okay, some of these pieces of this magazine are coming off. It's crinkly, alright, crackly, it's falling apart. Look on the light side. I am not going to try to read funnies. I am no good at it. Yeah, I'm reading them and I don't get it. Choose your picnic partners, 7-Up and picnic basket foods. Right now your grocer is featuring all kinds of good picnic eating, and with any picnic food, the perfect partner is 7-Up. I still like 7-Up. True Crew shirt. It says, "In easy all, position above in the Florida Southern College 1965 varsity crew, otherwise known as the Water Moccasins of Lakeland, Florida. They wear Henley shirts adapted from those worn by oarsmen in England's annual Royal Regatta at Henley on Thames. Shirts have collarless necks outlined in contrasting piping, are made with plackets and short sleeves." So they're all wearing the Henley hoopla. Do you hate that gray? Wash it away. Interesting. Loving hair colors, only the gray without changing your natural hair. That's weird. I've never heard of that before, where color would only attach itself to gray. Chevrolet. If you're interested in roughing it, you've got to get out of your Chevrolet. That's cute. Okay, so I am somewhere in between. I want a little bit of both. I want luxury in my car, and I want to get out and go swimming in a river in the woods with my cute man. Chesterfield people, they like a mild smoke, but just don't like filters. How about you? Chesterfield King cigarettes. So fascinating. There's so many liquor and cigarette ads in the 1960s. Okay, teenagers scream, stomp, and shake for the big beat sound of pop rock. There never was a sound like this before, baby. I mean, kids screaming that big beat, electric guitars that can crack glass, chung to chung to chung. I mean, you can't put down music that's been making the scene for 15 years. Like, that's no fad. So they're talking in the way that the kids were talking in the 50s and 60s. boxes shriek, radio stations that rock around the clock are on top in almost every city. Teenagers in stretch pants, dirty sneakers, and teased hair flood the concerts, scream, weep, oopa, oopa, eek. And record sales, Americans bought 236 million last year. Like that's $580 million. Who needs Bach when Americans dig singing groups like Screaming Lord, Such, and the Savages, Diggy Doo and the Don'ts, and the Dirty Shames. They're hip to the Beatles, Jay and the Americans, Herman's Hermits, Little Anthony and the Imperials, Freddie and the Dreamers. Oh my gosh. Actually, like sound has taken over, and call it rock and roll, rhythm and blues, pop country, and western contemporary. It swings. It's pop rock. Gone Girls grab For the Love of Mike Love on the Beach Boys, an American group that consistently packs the hall. So that's the Beach Boys. That was big in Malibu, California when I was growing up. Formula, Wine, Wiggle, and a Song. Here's Sonny and Cher. The look sells as hard as the sound. This duo features bobcat vests and a congestion of hair. Others wear spangled suits, leopard skins, and polychrome outfits of dizzying design. Oh my gosh, Cher looks so different. Barbara Alston, this former student of Martha Graham, is now a wild dancer on NBC's TV's Hullabaloo for her aching grind. Jeez. Okay, Jan and Dean. They sing hymns to skateboards and do tricks on stage. We spend 5 days a week in college and 2 on the stage. That's a good combo. Roosevelt Greer, the high-rise football star of the LA Rams, is an off-season TV singer for the fun of it. This has cost me lots more than I've made, but I sure get a big kick out of it, says Rosie. Rosie Greer. Rosie Greer. That's funny that it would cost him money to go on a show. Donna Lauren. At 18, she's better on ABC's TV Shindig. I've wanted to be in show business since I was born, she says. Before I could even walk, I hummed No One Knows Why Teenagers tag. One singer a hit, others just a pretty miss. I don't know who Donna Lauren is. Gary Lewis left, and the Playboys, the Supremes, and then, let's see, pop rock hits the ear the way the picture on the left hits the eye. Caught in motion, Ron Meeker of the Bow Brummels, shown above in comparative repose. Don't put this music down, says an observer of the scene. There's good and bad rock, good and bad blues, and like Remember Man, that there's bad classics too. People who don't dig this music bug me, snipes a girl who plays viola on pop rock records. People ridiculed Jackson Pollock when he dripped paint on canvas. Well, we're dripping notes. That's funny. The 60s, what a crazy time. Groups who can't sing need screamers. That's funny. Spontaneous combustion. Scream loudly. This music is real. It's here. It's happening. The Righteous Brothers above and Chuck Berry are among the first singers of rhythm and blues. Berry, a creator, has had enormous influence on the British groups. The deep roots of pop rock are just do it the way it should be done. It's the colored people's music. We do sound colored, and we sing soul songs, but not colored. But no colored person has ever said, I don't dig you guys singing our songs. And if the colored people accept it, man, you can't be putting anybody on. So interesting the way they talked back then. And you were still allowed to use the word colored in reference to a black African American. You come home from school all beat up and tense, and that night you go to a dance and you let go, and you get home feeling really good. Interesting. Well, I think most of us know that the soul of rock and roll comes from the African American slash black community. Because of their soul. They got so much soul. Okay, foods. The varied foods of Yugoslavia is a magnificent, lusty country with a bold, vigorous cuisine. A culinary journey from its agriculturally rich California area surrounding the capital city of Belgrade to the sunny white-rocked mountains of the Dalmatian coast brings out the scope and variety of the food. Foods of Yugoslavia. Dalmatian coast lures, mild climate, and robust cuisine. Oh, that sounds wonderful. The culinary flavor of the Dalmatian seacoast echoes the cuisines of its invaders. Marinated fish and vegetables from Italy, sweet honey and nut desserts from Greece, paprika meats from Austria, slivovitz, a brisk Balkan plum brandy, glowing peppers, sweet, fiery hot, brilliant yellow to green to orange, pork and lamb, piquantly, sweet onions, sun-ripened tomatoes, and lush fresh fruits. Oh my goodness. You can get me with food every time. Amazing new money-saving device, the 1965 Falcon. Now see, I was driving a Ford Falcon in 1975. So I was driving around a 10-year-old Ford Falcon, and I loved that car. I really did. 11 recipes from Yugoslavian kitchens. I don't see the 11 recipes. Oh, they are here, but they're headed with, oh boy, I'm not going to try to read that. I can't speak Yugoslavian, much less be able to pronounce the names of the meal. Okay, so this down here is an advertisement for the yellow Rolls Royce. This is cute, I gotta read this. Shirley MacLaine as the dumb blonde, smart enough to know that diamonds are forever. Rex Harrison as the Lord. He could buy anything but his wife's fidelity. And Ingrid Bergman plays the millionairess. She insisted on the very best in minks and men. Omar Sharif, his secret weapon was a woman. Jean Moreau as the lady, just old enough to want someone younger. George C. Scott as the muscleman. He had a yen for cars, culture, and classy dames. Elaine Delon as the gigolo. Women knew what he was and didn't care. Oh, me oh my, such drama in the 1960s. Same as now, but just a different goes through his crazy Guggenheim act with pitcher Ray Sedecki as Joe the bartender, but once they leave the clubhouse, no clowning. At 17, he showed how a bonus baby could handle $105,000. That was probably per year. Get the birdie every time. The Old Crow. Famous, smooth, and mellow. There's more on McCarver. Tim met his wife, Anne, 6 years ago at a basketball game when he spent a semester at Christian Brother College in Memphis, and she was a high school senior cheerleader. Okay. New and very in the party glass you just enjoy and then throw away. Scott cups. I guess that was just becoming popular. It's a kind of party glass made of miracle polystyrene. So that's when all of that non-biodegradable stuff started coming out. Meet the round tire. Atlas Plycron. Growing up on a farm. Bill Hammer has worked beside his farmer father since he was 6. Working together keeps us close, they say. Growing up on a farm, the vanishing life. The troubles of the American farmer are the troubles of Willis Bill Hammer, Jr., shown 10 years ago at the age of 14. 30 years ago, there were about 7 million farms, and today fewer than 3.5 million farms. Feed 53% more people. By 1980, experts say there will be only 1 million farms left. I wonder if that's true. Long ago, it was decided that Bill, when the time came, would take over the 335-acre family farm. But first he had a lot to learn, and at the age of 3, he rode a gentle horse over the fields to watch his father work. At 14, Bill did a man's work as much as any hired man. After school, he labored in the barns for 3 to 5 hours, and in the summer, he sometimes had to stay up until midnight, working in the hay and oat fields. There's the farm wife. In high school, Bill met Dorothy Hickman, who grew up on a farm only 5 miles away, and their courtship lasted 3 years. Sometimes they drove across the Mississippi River to Dubuque, Iowa to see a movie. And other times they watched a basketball game or went swimming in a pond. Bill's farm offered a romantic setting for long walks. We liked to climb a high hill and look down on the fields, Bill recalls. It was beautiful, the gold of the shimmering oats and the green of the corn. When he was 20, Bill made his only serious effort to see if he could get used to living off the farm, and he worked for 16 weeks as a lead and zinc miner in nearby Galena. That wasn't for me, Bill says, and he went back to farming, and on May 6, 1961, again they mentioned the year I was born, Bill and Dorothy were married in the First Presbyterian Church of Scales Mound, and later the guests had punch, cake, and ice cream. there because they sell out too quickly. That's what they're trying to say. A Texas minister's Israeli honeymoon. Texas minister Ralph Alexander's bride crossed into Israel, carrying their luggage and their suitcases past sandbags and rusted barbed wire. Seems like we were cut off from the rest of the world. Myrna first found the young Old Testament teacher strict, serious, awesome. Interesting. I'm gonna have to read some of this myself later. Summer long fun in your own backyard with Futura. Ad for swimming pool. Archaeology says it's the science of digging a hole and spinning a yarn about it. That's funny. Strangers in a unique land. The Alexanders earned the right to say, "We have been accepted." A high school flag twirler, she earned her UCLA degree in education. Myrna is mastering home barbering and learning to launder in the bathtub while keeping up with her teaching chores. They now live in a furnished fourth-floor walk-up apartment, a real gem, but the $75 rent takes a big bite out of the $200 a month income from Myrna's wages and Ralph's stipend. Beach bird, a brassy crow named Fella, who lives with Eric Larson's in California, South Laguna, gets his kicks on and over nearby Pelican Point, acting like a real ham for the spectators. That's cute. That would be fun. Fella dubiously eyes cup held by Tanya Shepard. Now it's Tanya's turn to be on guard, but she is reassured by Fella's friendly gesture. Cute beach bird. Those pictures remind me of the Coppertone commercials that we used to have. After we paint the car, we paint the paint. Interesting. Final exams, the ordeal of a borderline co-ed. Few college students can swing a nonviolent view of finals. Oh, boy, I'm not going to read that. You have to goof off some or you go crazy in college during exam time. No time to think of anything but C12. I don't know what C12 is, but these are some interesting pictures of kids at final exam time during college. Tired and freaked out. This person says, "I perk up just before the exam," Robbie explained. "When I think of the consequences, my adrenalines go to work." Clairol lipstick. I blew it. I couldn't understand the questions, but I tried my hardest. Well, that would be really sad to take exams and feel like you hadn't made it. She survived to C12, but fell 0.3 short of her goal line, a 0.2 average. And we end with a whiskey commercial.